Hey there, lovelies. How are y'all doing today? Today is Saturday, May 9th, 2020. I hope that everyone is staying safe and that everyone is well. My last video, I did not leave the date. Forgive me, guys. I am just starting this over again, and I'm still new at making these videos. I love to comment, but never seem to make my own videos. Okay, so I wanted to start with part two of Black women over 50 and their sons versus their daughters. Some of my talking points you all have heard before from other YouTubers. All I'm doing is co-signing on what they said, perhaps with some slight variations as an older Black woman. So I have a couple of notes with me today. I'm not totally doing this off the top of my head. My hope in doing this video is that Black women will listen to it and demand more from their sons, or certainly make some modifications in their behaviors toward their sons versus their daughters, as well as in their own love lives and dating and relationships and so forth. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to say is, a woman without self-esteem cannot teach her daughter how to have self-esteem. You cannot offer what you do not have. I mentioned in my other video that Black women in particular get so angry when you tell them you don't date Black men, specifically Black women over 50. And the mentality, not all, but maybe the majority, the mentality is coming from back in the day when racism was seen as the culprit for one's behavior. Racism was totally responsible for one's behavior. There was little to no sense of accountability. Racism was always offered as an acceptable excuse for everything when it came to Black men in particular. But I want to talk about some things that I've noticed in Black women through the years. And I'm not even so sure this should be a public video. But, well, being that I started it, let me just finish. What I noticed, I've known many, many Black women that raised children on their own, several children. And what I noticed is that they're quick to tell their daughters what they cannot have, that they have to be realistic, and that they have limitations. But I really haven't heard that in terms of their sons. I think most Black women, because of a variety of circumstances, have felt pretty hopeless for many decades when it came to their love life. And because they felt hopeless, they kind of passed that on to their daughters. They felt like they had no options, or, not all, of course, because there were some brave pioneers, as I've said before, but they knew relationships were a struggle for them. So most didn't even see any options, or didn't know that there were options, and so passed that mentality of struggle on to their daughters, unfortunately. Um, you have to be careful or mindful of advice that you take um, from women, black women, um, because black women have suffered a great deal, and often they will give you advice that just doesn't work. It doesn't work. Not all, because I think I give decent advice, but maybe far too many. We're coming from a legacy of pain and struggle and lack. And so sometimes when you're coming from that, there's an emotional component to it, to where you don't know how to pass on anything else because you've never had an outlet for your emotions. So I'm saying in particular to younger black women, be very careful and mindful who you take advice from. Um, Period. But, specifically I'm talking about black women. Um, Again, and I think I said this in my other video, um, when you are a black female, I noticed through the years, black mothers tend to feel sorry for their sons, but they will tell their daughters that, you know, you should have known better. You made an error. Now figure it out. I remember hearing of one young black woman. She was 20 years old. This is years ago. She had a child and she asked her mother for help, and her mother said no, and she killed herself. That was maybe 10, 15 years ago. It was heartbreaking. But, you all know black women that'll let their sons, as Crystal Swirl said, lay up on the couch until they're 38, 39 years old, and do nothing, or lay up on the couch until the mother or the mother most of the time passes away. I have seen that with my own two eyes, and forgive me, but that's why I'm giggling. I know she's telling more truths than a little bit. Um, Unfortunately, black women are so used to wanting and not having, or settling for momentary periods of happiness. But, you don't have to do this. You can have happiness. You can have a family under the covenant of marriage. You can have financial stability. You can have love. What you have to do is work on your mentality and step away from that mentality, which has produced a life of struggle and of lack, and of a lack of accountability. When I say a lack, I mean a lack of accountability, a lack of resources. You have to step away from the mentality that produces that mindset. Um, Sometimes, I do feel, and I hope this is going to piss some people off, but I hope it doesn't. I do feel sometimes like black women are just, are not quite honest with their sons and daughters. I believe I heard Kendall St. Charles say in one of her videos that mama's not telling you the truth about what it took to stay with papa. I'm paraphrasing, for years and years. She's not telling you about the children down the block and in the town over and what have you. And I have to say, I am inclined to agree with that. Black women hide a lot when it comes to black men, and I'm glad that we are no longer doing that. We're airing out our dirty laundry, and we're saying, yes, we can't do this anymore. And black men, you all have gotten rid of your best ally. You're the one that precipitated all of this. by choosing other women above us and by telling men of other races that we're nothing, when you know all of y'all were raised by a black woman because your father's been gone, and that we promoted you and were loyal to you unlike any other race of woman is loyal to their men. So y'all got rid of your best ally, and even us older ones are letting the cat out the bag. We're not protecting your identity. We're not, it just like you promote the beauty of other races of women above us. We're just telling the truth about y'all and many of your fathers. So moving right along. Unfortunately, because black women were implicit in many of this through protecting, hiding, coddling, covering up, doing the job of a man and a woman through raising families, it has done more damage than good. But I do understand in the same respects that if black women did not stand up and do the job of a man and a woman, that there would be very few black people left on earth today, because somebody had to stay behind and feed the kids and raise the children and keep a roof over your head and shoes on your feet and clothes on your back. Somebody had to do that. But in the long run, it did produce a group of spoiled and spoiled, self-entitled, coddled men, and a group of women who have difficulty believing that they are worthy of love and being able to know or point out what a real man is. Those were the byproducts of black women being left alone to deal with all aspects of life, including raising the children. Unfortunately, black women, because many have a difficulty identifying what a decent man is or a good man is, I would highly recommend some of Deborah Cooper's videos. I think she does a good job in identifying what a man is versus someone who's going to bring chaos and drama to your life. But unfortunately, as a result of this, many black women have lost their lives, or certainly have had many years of their lives taken away from them, and spent with men that offered nothing. Black men in particular that offered nothing. And so my hope is that black women will make different choices, will make better choices. If you don't know what a man is or the behaviors of a man, whether you're 20, 40, 50, I don't care how old you are, do your homework and find out what a real man is. Talk to men that you believe have a good handle on manhood. Be willing to learn and grow, and of course make mistakes. Just don't let it sabotage your life or many years of it. I'm going to stop there. Would like to know your thoughts, your comments, whatever. Your thoughts or your comments or anything else that you may feel. Okay, bye.